Apple just released new updates for all their new products, like macOS, iOS, and so much more. Here's the top new features for every device. Apple has completely redesigned all their softwares to have a very similar design and name like iOS 26. This new design is based off a clear gel-like material that they call liquid glass. It's super flowy, transparent, and honestly looks really cool. Everything has a little bounce when you move things, and the way you can see through things on your screen looks like you almost have a glass ball of some sort on your device, and it actually looks really cool. One great example is tvOS 26. You can see right through the dock here, and I think it looks really good. The iPhone has plenty of new features, starting with upgrades to phone calls itself. Your iPhone now gets call screening, which is going to be really helpful if you're someone that gets a lot of scam calls. Now, in settings, if you go to phone, you have some options for screening unknown callers. Never, ask for a reason calling, and silence. You'll get different filters based on what you select. For example, silence will automatically send any unknown callers to voicemail. We got some upgrades to visual intelligence, which lets you actually use visual intelligence on screenshots. What does this mean? Well, now you can actually just take a screenshot, then circle something in screenshot and either ask ChatGPT or Google it. I feel like this will be super useful, and Google's had this for quite a while, so I'm glad Apple's finally bringing it to the iPhone. The big new lock screen feature of iOS 26 is spatial scenes. I thought this would be pretty dumb at first, but it's honestly actually pretty cool. All you need to do is hold down on your lock screen to go into the edit mode. From here, you can add a new wallpaper or use an existing wallpaper. Then just press this little landscape button and your photo will transform into a 3D photo. Give it a try for yourself because it's actually pretty awesome. We also get the new dynamic clock on the lock screen that changes based on the photo, a new games app where you can find all your games and stats, and much improved translation, like the ability to translate text right in the Messages app. And lastly, with iPhone, we got an updated camera app as well as Photos app, which hopefully is much more simple, but at the same time much more powerful than ever before. iPadOS 26 is the closest thing we've gotten to a computer on your iPad, bringing some very big updates, starting with the new Windowed Apps feature. Okay, you know how on a Mac, if you open an app, it'll just open the app right on top of any other apps you're using? Well, Apple brought that to the iPad, which makes it a lot closer to an actual Mac experience. Now, if you have Windowed Apps turned on, you can open a few apps and they all appear on the screen. If you grab the bottom right corner, you can now change the size of each window. Or if you want some of Apple's preset options, you can actually go to the top left corner to see Apple's stoplight controls. Hold down on the full screen button and you get a few split screen options. The Mac has had a menu bar on top of every app for years, and Apple's finally bringing that to the iPad. Now, if you're in an app, you can just bring the newly designed cursor to the top of the iPad and the menu bar will appear, with all sorts of options for that specific app that you're in. One last thing that Apple's bringing from the Mac to the iPad is the Preview app. So you can finally open all the docs you need on your iPad. It's crazy that it took this long to get to the iPad, but I'm glad it's finally here, and now the iPad is much closer to a usable laptop than we've ever seen before. Okay, now for macOS 26, which also got that new liquid glass design, but the biggest two new features involve Spotlight and Folders. Let's start with the updates to Folders, which is actually available across all the devices in Apple, and there's some cool features here. Apple's brought a few customization features to Folders. You can now change the color and add different emojis to each folder. For example, let's make a new folder and we'll make it red, and then we can add a little play button. We can make this the new YouTube folder, and it's just a little easier to find when you're looking through folders. Then with macOS 26, we got a whole bunch of new Spotlight features. Spotlight on macOS 26 just got its biggest update ever. It's no longer just search. It's basically a full-on command center for the Mac. You can now run hundreds of actions right from your Spotlight. Things like sending a message, creating a note, or adding a calendar event. Apple added new quick keys, so instead of typing out a full command, you can just type something like SM for send message or AR to add a reminder. Navigating the Spotlight is a lot cleaner too. There's new sections like applications, files, actions, and clipboard. And you can jump to these instantly with hotkeys like Command 1 and Command 2. Over time, Spotlight will learn your habits and make your shortcuts feel a lot more natural. That clipboard section is huge. It's basically a built-in clipboard history manager. So if you copied something yesterday, Spotlight will remember it and let you paste it again. Spotlight also plays perfectly with Apple Intelligence and shortcuts. And because of iPhone mirroring, Spotlight even shows your iPhone apps. So yes, you can even launch your iPhone apps right from your Mac. Spotlight has gone from a simple search tool to something super powerful that can save you time every single day. Okay, now for the Apple Watch. Apple also added a new wrist flick gesture. Just a quick flick and you can dismiss notifications, silence alerts, or jump back to your watch face. Also, the Smart Stack on the Apple Watch got a lot smarter. Your Apple Watch will start to learn your routine and give you Smart Stack hints. For example, I work out in the mornings, so I get a smart stack hint of starting a workout. Messaging got a big upgrade with live translation. You can translate conversations in real time from your wrist, which is huge for travel. We also got a real notes app on the Apple Watch. You could create a new note using your voice or type using Scribble, or you can just find one of your other notes that you made on your iPhone. watchOS 26 even helps with phone calls. Accessibility got a big boost too. For example, features like live listen transcription and live captions make the watch more inclusive for everyone. The workout app itself got a complete redesign as well. The layout is a lot simpler, plus your watch now auto-adjusts volume during workouts based on ambient noise. Altogether, Apple Watch got a lot faster, smarter, and just a lot more personal. It's not just about tracking your workouts anymore, it's about making your watch just the most useful everyday companion. Not a lot of people have a Vision Pro. I definitely can't afford one. But visionOS 26 is probably the biggest update that it's ever had. First up, widgets that stay put. You can finally anchor interactive widgets to your environment, so things like weather, calendar, or music controls just live where you want them to instead of floating away. Safari gets a big upgrade with 3D web browsing. Instead of flat windows, websites can now render in immersive, three-dimensional context, perfect for shopping, maps, or interactive experiences. Apple's starting to roll out the ability to add third-party accessories like a controller or a stylus, which is going to be really helpful and make this thing maybe a little more useful. There's now wide field of view video support, native playback now includes 360 and 180 degrees, and wide format content, making the Vision Pro the ultimate headset for immersive video. Another nice upgrade is seamless switching of eye and hand data. You can transfer your setup instantly between your Vision Pro and your iPhone, so your interactions stay consistent across devices. They also improved customization just a little bit. You can now create folders in the home view, making it much easier to keep your apps tidy in the spatial UI. These are huge updates for the Vision Pro, and I think I would use it if I had one, but it's just way too expensive. These are some of Apple's biggest updates in years, and I'm hoping over the next few weeks I can make in-depth videos of each one of them, so stay tuned for that.